auditory nerve, the nerve from the ear to the brain. So let's see how they use this in advertising. This is an ad for a yoga club. Do you see how they make their value proposition become visual? They explain to you what they can do for your body. What about this one? This one is for a cosmetic surgery center in Canada. Pretty good to make it visual, right? All right. And the last stimulus is emotion. So let's see how they use this in advertising. Don't talk while she drives. Are they talking rational here, or are they talking emotional? What about an ad to help you stop smoking? In several countries now around the world, you have to have those pictures on the packs of cigarettes. Right? So, now you're going to tell me, great, does this apply to other areas of life? Because I've applied this to marketing, and I, again, help people sell you lots of stuff that you don't need. But does this have other applications to life? So let me tell you what the problem they were having at the airport in Amsterdam, at the urinals. They had a lot of leaks. So knowing that the reptilian brain is visual, what do you think they could have done to help that problem? Give me ideas. Here is what they did. They printed a fly in the middle of their urinal, which apparently helps men be better at aiming. As a result, they reported 80% decrease in spillage. Guys, this is not science fiction. This is true stuff. Make it visual. How about better eating? Imagine if you were the director of a food service in a school district and you have to feed 2,000 kids a day. Knowing that the reptilian brain works with beginning and end, what could you do to help your kids eat more healthy? What could you do? Very simple. Just change the order of the food, and it can impact its consumption by as much as 25%. So put the bad food in the middle, put the vegetables and the fruits at the beginning and at the end. What about drinking? How could you use contrast to help people drink less sugar, for example? Well, guess what? If you serve in tall glasses, people have a tendency to pour less. Why? Because it creates the illusion to your reptilian brain that you're drinking more. Right? So not only kids, but even bartenders ending up pouring less in tall glasses. Now, what about driving? This is a very famous turn on the lake in Chicago. They have this really long stretch of road where people were starting to speed up, and they have a very dangerous 25-mile turn here. So knowing that the reptilian brain loves tangible input, what could you do to help people slow down? Now, they had tried everything, right? They had tried the flashing signs, they had tried a lot of stuff. Here is what they ended up doing. I don't know if you can see it well, but on the street, they ended up printing some bars on the road. But the key is that those bars are getting closer and closer as we get to the turn. So it's creating the illusion to your reptilian brain that you're speeding when in fact you're still going slower and slower. Pretty good. How about if you want to decrease energy users? And knowing that the reptilian brain loves emotion, what could you do? Any idea? Here is what they did. By simply informing people of the average consumptions of their neighbors, people are starting to use less because we want to conform, we want to belong. And guess what? Something even more incredible happened than to those people that had reduced their consumption by 3.5%. They sent them on their next invoice a smiley. And just getting a smiley helped people further decrease. So if you can create emotion with a smiley, guys, can you imagine what we could do? So what I've done is I have translated those 6 stimuli, and I teach this around the world, into 4 steps for marketeers. Now, I cannot tell you what they are because they pay me for this, right? No, actually, the 4 steps are you have to diagnose the pain of your customers. In other words, you have to truly understand what makes them tick at a reptilian level. In other words, not what they want, so that's not important, but what pains and fears do they have in their subconsciousness. The second thing is you have to differentiate your claims. In other words, you have to look like the only red apple among blue apples. The third one is you have to demonstrate the gain. So whatever you sell them, you're going to take them from a painful situation to a less painful situation, and that's that delta, we will call it the gain. And the third step is you have to deliver to the reptilian brain. So I've even published a book on this. The book can be summarized in a map. And the end of that map, as you can see, is that elusive buy button. So what if we all knew about the reptilian brain? What would that mean for teachers? Well, I believe that if teachers understood the reptilian brain of our kids, we would have better education. I also believe that if judges understand better the nature of the reptilian brain, we might get better justice. If parents were aware of the reptilian brain, we may have better families. If singles were aware of the reptilian brain, we may have better relationships. If doctors were aware of the reptilian brain, we may have better medicine. If filmmakers were aware of the reptilian brain, well, they do, we would have better entertainment. And if marketeers were aware of the reptilian brain, well, that's my job. So this was the definition of neuromarketing when I started. That definition was intended for your neocortex, so most of you probably did not understand what it was, but neuromarketing is really about finding that buy button. Thank you very much.